Hey everybody, I'm Adrian Bustamante and welcome to Food Deconstructed. On today's episode, we're going to be deconstructing everybody's favorite salad, the Caesar salad. Now the first recipe up, we're going to take Caesar nachos. These are great for anything from hanging out with your friends and family, watching a game, or maybe having a family party, all the way having to a really nice dinner party. They can be made as an appetizer as well. So the first thing we're going to start with is the Parmesan chips. Now all you need is a little bit of Parmesan cheese, cheese grater, a little bit of EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by just putting a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Not much though, we just want to get a small little layer. Move it around a little bit, make sure it coats the pan a little bit. What we're going to do is take the cheese grater and the cheese and then just grate directly over the pan. Now what we're doing is just creating a little bit of mound of cheese that what I'm going to do after this is I'm actually just going to pat down into a small little area. In about 3 to 5 minutes what's going to happen is this is going to actually crust over, harden over, and turn into a little chip. Pat it down a little bit. Now the best thing about this is you can do it two ways. You can do it the way we're doing here, which is in the pan, or you can make it in the oven and make a larger portion for everybody. In the oven, you're just going to use a baking sheet or a silicone pad and do the same thing. Grate over the pad, stick it in the oven about 400 degrees if need be, and then in about 3 to 5 minutes, you got yourself some nice Parmesan chips. So while this is cooking up, which is actually doing a pretty good job right now of doing its thing, all right, and while the Parmesan chip is finishing up, I'm going to start up on our anchovy sauce or dip. So this is going to be our proverbial, I guess, nacho cheese. First thing we're going to start off with is 1 egg yolk. Then we're going to go to a teaspoon of lemon juice, excuse me. Yeah. Teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And last, but definitely not least, we're going to go a teaspoon of anchovy paste. Now you can pick up anchovy paste in most grocery stores, you know, close to you. The good thing about this is it comes in a tube. It actually is resealable, so it won't go bad if you're only going to use a little bit, which a little bit goes a long way when it comes to anchovy paste. So we're going to use a teaspoon of this. And we're going to whisk this together until it gets nice and smooth. Now, while I'm whisking, one of the things I like to talk to you about is people kind of ask me all the time, well, what is a deconstructed food? And I like to say, keeping it simple, is taking all the ingredients of a certain food, in our case, Caesar salad, and deconstructing it and recreating another food still with the essence of that original recipe or that food. So in our case, Caesar salad. And that looks nice and smooth. Now, next up, we're going to put the oil in. We're going to start with a cup of vegetable oil. Now, what the oil is going to do is we're going to do it nice and slow and keep whisking here. Now, the purpose of both this oil and our extra virgin olive oil is to create an emulsion, which is just to basically thicken up our little nice watery bowl right now into what we're going to get later, nice thicker sauce. And while that's running, next up, half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. Now some easier ways to take care of this would actually be to even use a stick blender or some kind of blender if you kind of want a little bit of a crunch on time. Myself, I'm just going to finish it up with the whisk. And so I'm going to put this aside because we got one more thing we need to do before we finish it off and plate this, is we're going to chiffonade a little bit of romaine lettuce. Now chiffonade is just a fancy way of saying I'm going to roll up this lettuce right here and cut off some really thin strips for garnish. So if you want to make people impressed by your vocabulary, you can use chiffonade whenever you want. So, I'm going to cut off some nice thin strips here. Now I happen to already have a nice tasty plate of Parmesan chips here, but I'm going to bring this one off the pan now and kind of show you how it works. Now basically what's going to happen is it should just come nice and easy off the pan. It should come nice and easy off the pan. There you go. And you have yourself a Parmesan chip. From there, take a little bit of our dressing or dip. You can put a little bit like there, or you can do like I like to do and just go full board. Just put that dip all over those Parmesan chips there. There we go. Fine. Now for the last piece of our puzzle, a little bit of garnishment, create that essence of the Caesar salad, and voila, Caesar nachos. So let's take a taste of this and see how it goes. Oh, that's really good. I mean, it's got all the components of a Caesar salad right there in a totally different form. So you got the Parmesan cheese coming from the chip, you got the romaine lettuce, you got the anchovy dip, which is similar to a Caesar dressing, and the texture is amazing. If you like kind of like a potato chip, but not really, it gives a little bit, it's some good stuff. Good for any party, appetizer at a fancy dinner party, whatever you have.